Hello everyone. My name is Rhea Bedi Wire. I'm a proud Torres Strait Islander and Punjabi Indian woman living on Quandamooka land in Tingalpa. My beautiful native land, from which my father's side is, Saibai Island. It's the western side of Torres Strait, closest to Papua New Guinea. My clan is the Aitkadal clan, the saltwater crocodile, is my totem. My Punjabi Indian bloodline, originating from my mother's side, starts in the rich land of Amritsar. I'm 23 years old. I just completed my tertiary studies in a Bachelor of Human Services and a Bachelor of Social Work. And I'm a climate activist, a human rights advocate, an emerging sociologist, and a poet. Today I have one request from the audience, and that's reflection, because today I'm going to tell you my story about identity. I often describe the complexities of being a Native person on country as simultaneously beautiful and deeply painful. I speak from truth when saying identifying as a minority within a minority. As a Torres Strait Islander, it's a harrowing experience due to the current climatic, political, social, economic, psychological, and emotional landscapes that surround colony. To be a Torres Strait Islander today means coming to terms with the fact that my traditional land is sinking in front of a society that chooses to do nothing about it. To be a Torres Strait Islander means to understand that as a consequence of climate change, which is a consequence of British colonialisation, my ability to preserve and continue my culture, traditions, healing methods, storytelling, bush medicine, mourning practices, song and dance, agriculturally dependent livelihood, everything connected to my identity is under threat of extinction. To be a Torres Strait Islander means to come to terms with the fact that I will have to have discussions with my children and grandchildren about the place in which their bloodline originates from will eventually disappear. To be a Torres Strait Islander requires the ability to understand that my life expectancy has an 8 to 10 year difference compared to the average non-Indigenous person. And this is a consequence of the colonial construction of a white-only society's intention to wipe out Indigenous peoples. As a result, I must work harder and quicker to heal myself from the predispositions of gaining health conditions that were originated and brought to country through settler colonialism and invasion. To be a Torres Strait Islander means, statistically, I will attend more funerals than weddings in my life, and I already have. To be a Torres Strait Islander means having to break the cycle of intergenerational trauma and being the first in my generation to do so. As a result, I must compromise my relationships with some elders who are still living within the trauma of the stolen generations and the pre-reconciliation society of Australia, and consequently continue the cycles of violence that they were once exposed to by colonisers. To be a young Torres Strait Islander breaking the cycle means I risk being shunned and ostracised from my own community for speaking up about wanting change from previous generations that have conformed to guilt, shame, and pride. As a consequence, I risk being communally isolated for disrespecting the traditional hierarchy. To be a Torres Strait Islander means to challenge the intergenerational shame of being oppressed. To be a young Torres Strait Islander woman breaking the cycle means I challenge the cultural norms and traditional practices in a heavily patriarchal culture that expect me to fulfill roles within community that diminish my right to gender equality. To be a Torres Strait Islander means to navigate the Western healthcare, legal, social, and economic systems that weren't built for me to sustain a prosperous life. To be a Torres Strait Islander means that I have to understand that this country was colonised to set myself up for failure, and that every generation before mine was welfare dependent to ensure that there would be no survival within a capitalist society. As a result, I must work quicker and harder to build generational wealth for my legacy with the white man's dollar. To be a Torres Strait Islander means navigating the duality of westernisation and indigeneity, from living on mainland versus yearning for the island, which means staying true to being a black fella but knowing how to walk the white fella way so I can be understood by and speak the language of the majority. To be a Torres Strait Islander means I cannot rely on the political decision makers of this country to ensure my basic human rights are met under universal declarations. To be a Torres Strait Islander means understanding that my rights are consistently used as a political football for whatever government comes in next. To be a Torres Strait Islander means accepting the fact that my right to treaty can be taken away from me within the span of 5 months of a legislative pathway being established. Being a Torres Strait Islander means 60.5% of this country do not want my voice of struggle and survival within chambers. It means understanding that Indigenous people are 17.3 times more likely to be arrested than a non-Indigenous person, and Indigenous kids are 11.8 times more likely to be held within the child protection system compared to the non-Indigenous child. To be a Punjabi Indian means on the 15th of August 1947, India and Pakistan became independent nations and gained full independence from the Crown and British colonial rule. To be Rhea Wire means to be in a constant state of fluctuating freedom and fighting to be free. And so, in the depths of my despair, not even my identity will allow me to lose hope. My hope for the future is anchored in the quiet power of gratitude, for breath in my lungs, for the path carved by those who walk through fire so I can sit upright. It is in their honour, my elders and ancestors, that I stand here today, part of a collective change they dreamt of, prayed for, and bled into the soil of both my lands. And so I walk with the saltwater crocodile beside me, slow, steady, and sovereign, honouring my sacred duty to protect, to remember, to transform, until my spirit returns to its traditional place within this universe.